coming up is Inside Oakwood. So let's get straight to our weather and our traffic right now so we can get to Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. Here is Isaiah with your weather report.
Looks like the rest of the ride in is going to be pretty uneventful. I don't see anything new problem-wise. Everything from earlier should have been cleared out of the way now. You be careful. We are going to have some folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. Do you use the CPAP machine for snoring or sleep apnea? Are you sure it's really clean and well sanitized? The Somnodent from Dr. Randall Sandlin's an oral device. No hoses, no mask. 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jet Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Well, thanks, Captain Nick. That obviously was not Isaiah, but here's Isaiah with the update on your weather.
Partly cloudy, 56 degrees with highs of 69 and a low of 55. We are still on track to hit the overcast skies at around 10 to 11, and we'll hit the mid-60s at noontime. I'm Isaiah Goodrich, and this forecast has been brought to you by Applewhite Movers. They pick up and drop off across town or across the country. Their number is 844-929-1039.
And it's time for Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. He's here with some special guests today for our Inside Special Edition, Inside Oakwood Special Edition with Dr. Leslie Pollard. There have been some great things coming out of COVID-19, especially for Oakwood University, Dr. Pollard. So thank you for being with us today again.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here to talk about Oakwood and to talk about all the wonderful things that are happening on our campus and with our student body and with our employees. It's really a delight.
Yes, it is a delight. And I'm really excited because it's going to be focusing on students today and what is coming out of the student body of Oakwood University.
Tremendous creativity, innovation, all of those things that you would think that a pandemic would suppress. It's actually triggering all of those, the unleashing of all of that creativity.
Right. Oh, my goodness. So, I didn't ask you before we got on, but did you have a word for us today?
Oh, sure. It's a simple illustration, though. But it's a simple illustration. It's the story of Coach Bear Bryant. He's a legend here, right, in Alabama.
Yes.
So Coach John McKay, who used to coach in the Los Angeles Rams and for the USC, University of Southern California. So they all like to tell stories of how Bear Bryant was such a supremely confident man.
Yes.
Just confident. So one day they went out duck hunting. That's what some people in Alabama do. Went out duck hunting, and they were sitting out there for like 2 or 3 hours, and nothing was happening. Ducks weren't coming by, and they were just chatting. So finally, a lone duck flew down into the pond, and Coach raised his rifle, aimed, pulled the trigger, pow! And the duck just flew away.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he said to Coach McKay, this confidence thing. He said to Coach McKay, he said, "Coach," he said, "you just witnessed a miracle." He said, what do you mean? He said, "There flies a dead duck."
That's a good one.
So there it is. So when Satan lands in the pond of your life and causes a stir, you just know that you're watching a dead duck.
Wow.
He's a dead duck. He is dead in the water. Christ has already defeated him. He's been beaten, and he can't do you anything that God doesn't allow to come into your life. And this whole COVID-19, as I was speaking to someone, I'll tell you who it was. I was speaking with Frank Williams this morning, Landis McClarty.
Okay.
And he was saying, he says, God allowed this, and we just got to respond to it.
Right.
We've got to figure out how to respond and what we need to do. And God is trying to say something to us, and we need to listen.
That's right.
And I think that's our lesson for today.
I agree.
We need to listen and hear what God is trying to say to us.
That's right. And be responsive to His word.
And be responsive to His word.
Because a lot of people would think that we would be dead right now with everything that's going on, but we are alive.
But we are here. We are
very much alive. And so let's talk about your guest today. Who do you have in here today?
Okay, so we've got some wonderful guests here today.
Dr. Ferdinand.
Yeah, we've got Dr. Jason Max Ferdinand, who is the leader of our Aeolians and doing a phenomenal work. And then we've got Brother Chad Lupoe, who is a senior within the Aeolians and a great singer. And, of course, if anybody's been tuned into social media, they've seen this wonderful presentation on We Shall Overcome by the Aeolians, and Chad is singing, of course, the solo work. I mean, it's just amazing. As a matter of fact, I sent that to some executives
You
for the
did?
UNCF yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I actually sent it to them. So
Wonderful.
So
Any response yet?
Oh yeah. Well, Dr. Lomax, who is the president, he said, I'm going to look. He said, I got meetings all day today.
Okay.
He said, but I'm going to look at it late tonight and then get back to you and give us some feedback.
Wow.
So I sent it to him yesterday. Then we've got Dr. Stephen LaiHing. Dr. Stephen LaiHing, who is one of our faculty members in chemistry, who led out in a great initiative creating hand sanitizers. Remember when there was a big run on sanitizers?
It still is. There still is.
It still is.
Well,
There still
people
is.
can't
There
find
still is.
it.
There still is. Yes. So the run on sanitizer and he and his students, how they responded to that in very creative ways. And then with him, of course, is Mr. Kyle Johnson. And then, of course, we've got two of our students, the Henley children, I call them, Robert and Taimane. They are actually are engineering and biomedical interested students. They've actually created masks, especially the N95 mask. So it'll be interesting to hear from them.
Yes, we're going to hear about
And we've got a
all
special
of that.
feature on them, of course, in Inside Oakwood this week in the digital version.
Right. So listen, let's start out with Dr. Ferdinand. He's right here in the office, in the studio with us. Dr. Jason Max Ferdinand is here, along with Chad on the line with us. And so tell us about, first of all, I got to start out with that video that has gone viral now that has inspired the world. Tell us about how that came about.
Well, it's ironic. Professor Steve Murphy and myself and Chad had talked about it kind of in passing before Alumni Weekend. And then when Emil Parker reached out to us to provide some music for Alumni Weekend, we decided to just give it a shot. Because it's quite a process and none of us had really done it before. So it was a huge learning curve that had to happen very, very quickly.
Right. So, and then the song choice was just so on point.
It was.
I mean, what was the process of you getting to that selection? You know, you have so many to pull from, you know.
Yeah, well, a few factors, but probably the more underlining one would be, I keep telling choral colleagues around the country that I'm interested to see what choral programming looks like after the pandemic, because I don't think we could program surface level anymore. And I've been working on a chapter for a book called Pragmatic Programming for Perilous Times, which I think is going to be birthed in this whole crazy pandemic. So we're essentially looking for a song that would speak to the times and gives people some hope and something to look forward to. And We Shall Overcome is just a song that got us through one perilous period of time, and it still works today.
Yes, it does.
And it's ironic. I mean, the song never mentions the word Jesus or God or anything religious, but it's so global and so heartfelt, and everyone around the world knows it. So it was an obvious choice.
Wow. Just a wonderful choice. I mean, just like I think everybody was moved by that. So that was new for you, getting into doing something new, and you know you're going to come back probably, and it's going to change your whole way of directing and how you teach this thing. And so I'm sure it's also changed your path and what you're planning to do or had planned to do this year as well. So how has all of this COVID-19 and the school closing and all of this online stuff now changed your schedule? Because aren't you usually on a spring schedule or tour or something right now?
Well, luckily we had just finished our spring tour right before the pandemic hit. I think like the week before, a week and a half before. So we had just gotten off spring tour and had a wonderful time. And I actually got a lot of recordings done. So now it's just a time to rest, huh?
Is it really rest?
I mean, in some ways, you know, I'm choosing to use the time to really try and slow down so that I could really hear, like truly hear.
Oh, wow.
And
I love that.
just spending the time to reset.
Yeah.
I think Jason's point is well taken and well made. Prior to this, all of us felt like we were on a treadmill, even though my life is just as busy now as it was then.
Right, mine too.
I am telling myself I need to pull back some and reflect. It just takes some time. Right now, everyone has discovered the Zoom room, right? So Zoom meetings and Zoom. And it goes from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. But I think it's important for all of us during this moment to see how can we maximize it. And one of the things I appreciate about the piece that was selected by Jason and the team is that, as I said to Dr. Lomax the other day, it was a historic civil rights anthem.
Yes.
that we sang repeatedly. It's testimonial. It's a number of different things. But to apply it to the coronavirus, and those who haven't seen it, we encourage you to go to YouTube and to identify. Just Google Aeolians, We Shall Overcome.
Right.
And you will be able to see it. But it's the images along with the music that makes the difference.
That's right. Now, Chad was part of those images.
Yes,
Chad,
he was.
How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. Glad to be here. Glad to be alive.
Well, Chad, you just moved us to like tears with your rendition and your solo of We Shall Overcome. What were you feeling and thinking when you did that? Because you were by yourself, right, when all this was going on, but the emotion and everything comes through so clearly.
Yes, I mean, praise God that many people were blessed. The song also blesses me. When I do the solo throughout the school year, constantly, it's a reminder to my soul and to my spirit that whatever I'm going through at the moment is just temporary, and I shall overcome, whether that be schoolwork, whether that be, family trials, or whether that be my own personal fears and doubts, I shall overcome. So to share that message was just a blessing to give people, as I like to say, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow.
Wow. Well, you definitely did that with that song, and you're leading on that song. Now, you're also a graduating senior. So how is all of this playing into how you see your future, I guess?
Yes, I am. The future is a bit blurry right now, but I'm trusting God. I actually came out after, when school was kind of put online. My fiance has been out here in California at Loma Linda in school by herself. And so I chose to, come out here to be with her as she finishes her studies, and she's keeping me on track as I finish my studies. And, that little monster called senioritis is trying to creep in, and it wants to be fed. So
is it
much.
still alive? That little monster is still alive.
Listen, it's anytime you reach the end of your journey, or you're approaching the end of your journey, you just want to give up. But I'm choosing to stay strong and keep to the end and persevere until I finish.
Amen.
Is it that you want to give up or you want to check out? Which one is it? I recall it. I recall it vividly from my senior year. It's like, oh my goodness, what happened to my motivation?
But the music is probably
especially now if you have the time. So
right. And music is just pulling you through, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right. So listen, we appreciate you all coming in and talking. Any final words? Now, Dr. Ferdinand, I did hear you say something about a book. Can you give us a little little peek into that book?
Well, I'm just trying to take intentional. I mean, like Dr. Pollard said, life is certainly still very, very busy. Probably a little more crazy now that everybody's having all these Zoom meetings. But I'm just intentionally trying to put away the phones and stuff at certain times in the day. And Hal Leonard is publishing a book by 50 choral directors around the country, and each of us are responsible for a couple of chapters. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Wow. Well, we are looking forward to seeing that and reading that very, very soon. Maybe you'll be on A Moment in Time. We'll hear about all that.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That would be great. Hey, listen, we have some other guests in the studio. We are going to welcome in Dr. LaiHing and Kyle Johnson. Dr. Pollard.
Well, Dr. LaiHing, it's phenomenal work. And I just want to thank, of course, Jason and the team for everything that they do. For me, Donna, again, of course, Dr. Ferdinand is one of the more prominent faculty members and servants of Oakwood. And there are many others who are like him. But we also have others who may not be as conspicuous, as prominent, who make such great contributions, and often they're in our classrooms. And, of course, we see them on social media. And Dr. LaiHing is really doing a great job in mentoring and molding students. And that's important for us because there is no institution without two things, without faculty and without students.
That's right.
Those are the two minimum essentials for having a university. You may not have anything else.
You may not have a classroom.
You may not have a classroom, right? Well, like Socrates, you can learn under a tree, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's the ability to shape and to form lives. And I'd like to thank them each of them for what they do in their own respective arenas.
Yes. So Dr. LaiHing is the Oakwood University Associate Professor of Chemistry, and he has done some wonderful things leading out our students. Tell us about that, Dr. LaiHing. Wait, there we go. There we go.
So I teach a research class every semester, CH 491, and each student has their own project that they're supposed to work through for a grade. And towards the beginning of March, we sort of saw what was starting to happen in our community and how, toilet paper and hand sanitizer and all these things were starting to disappear. And, we still had a need for these things, particularly in our departments, in the STEM departments, as well as the Child Development Lab, where our littlest community citizens were, our littlest Oakwood citizens were. And so the students came to me and said, hey, we want to make hand sanitizer. Do we have the materials we need? And I said, well, let me look this up and see what we have.
Great.
So we had the isopropyl alcohol, but I needed to get aloe vera. And I went to all the stores and I called around. I went to Sprouts and Kroger's and all these places, no aloe vera. And then I smacked myself in the head and said, wait, we have Oakwood Farms. So I made a call and they said, we have plenty, come by. And so I was able to get large aloe vera leaves, brought it into the lab, and we all were able to set up, and it turned into quite a group effort. We were able to make 2 large batches and use it throughout the science complex and with the Child Development Lab.
Wow. So what are large batches? Define that?
So, okay, I guess that's all relative, right? Two 128-ounce bottles.
Wow. That's amazing. How long did it take you all to do that?
Maybe an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
I let the students run everything.
Wow.
So they did all the calculations. They scraped the aloe vera gel off the plant, and and they ran the equipment to mix it and do everything else. And then we'd grab people as they walked by to test it and tell us which one felt better against their skin.
Oh, wow.
So they ran it. It was truly student-led, which is the dream of any professor, that the students are able to take over and actually facilitate their learning like that.
And how did you distribute these?
I knew there were areas, especially with our students, there were certain areas that were higher risk than others because of the interactions. So I made sure that our students going into the labs had access to it. I made sure that the Child Development Lab, because those kids haven't met a germ they didn't like yet. so they're big on making sure that the kids not only wash their hands but have access to hand sanitizer.
Wow. Now Kyle is on the phone as well, and I remember Kyle from my class at Oakwood Evidence Academy.
Yeah, he's one of our brightest.
Hey, Kyle.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. Tell us about this experience that you were so instrumental with.
It was a fun idea. So basically, we were scrolling on Instagram, and I saw a video of a girl making hand sanitizer in a blender, and I was just like, It sounds like, do you think we could make this and upscale it, obviously?
Right.
But he's like, sure. He's like, first thing, we couldn't find the aloe vera, and if it wasn't aloe vera gel, it was, I think, an aloe vera with sunscreen properties, which we couldn't do. So taking the aloe vera out maybe took about 10-15 minutes. Then we would blend it. And then we had to get alcohol, which was, I think we went to several stores which were out, and then someone decided to go to Dollar General. And we found 99.9% alcohol, which is kind of unheard of. That store would carry it. So we made that, blended it up, we made hand sanitizer. So there are about maybe 12 to 14 test samples people took out. How does it feel? It's too dry. It's dry. It's not dry enough. It's moisturizing. Then we decided to test it against bacteria. So we made a couple plates. We made about a 1.5 of our hand sanitizer. We put it in the incubator to see if it actually did kill the bacteria, and it actually did. So our hand sanitizer did work.
Wow. And so this was actually your brainchild to come up with this idea to take it upscale and create this.
Just to take it upscale.
I love that. I love that. So how do you think this is going to impact your future? And now that you are actually doing something hands-on, you're in action and doing things that you enjoy doing and they're studying to do.
definitely put the lab practices we had like to the highest point of glassware cleaning, how to do perfect calculations because your life actually does depend on it. Getting into the lab and doing something fun and that can have an impact to multiple people or several people really is just amazing in a way, something like I thought about, but now you actually do it. So I really love that.
Well, we are just so excited for you and all that you have done to lead in this. We're just excited that we have Oakwood University students actually touching lives in a meaningful way, Dr. Pollard.
While they're employed under the tutelage of such great professors as Dr. LaiHing and Dr. Ferdinand.
Wonderful.
I have a question for Dr. LaiHing. Dr. LaiHing, any update on the latest science regarding the coronavirus, COVID-19? Any things you've been reading, looking at, reflecting that could help us understand better how this disease actually, how this virus actually functions? So that's a scientific question.
Sure. So now the aim and focus really is moving towards the pharmaceutical side of it, because while the vaccine is being developed, we still need some sort of treatment option. And so one of the big hopes originally, a lot of the tests are coming back and are saying that it's not working. But now they're moving towards even looking at older vaccines that were used for like tuberculosis to see if there's some sort of halo protective effect that is able to be given to COVID-19. So right now there's still a mad dash of billions of dollars. Everyone is mobilizing within the industry to find drugs that work. Because once we can do that, then we can hopefully stem the tide until a vaccine arrives within the next 10 to 12 months.
Amen. Well, we're really looking for that. You know, now your students aren't the only ones that have been doing some phenomenal things. We have some other students that have actually made some N95 respiratory mask. Amazing.
Absolutely.
I wish they were in my class.
Oh, my goodness. All of our students, what we're seeing here is a pattern of incredible innovation and creativity. And I'd like to add entrepreneurship.
That's right.
Entrepreneurship. That's what Robert and Taimane actually represent.
Hey, Robert and Ty, tell us about your experience and how you came about to make these masks that, that are just so valuable and needed right now.
So, hey everyone, my name is Robert, and I'd say really what inspired me is just seeing how many lives that this virus has affected. And our mother is also a doctor, and she's helping fighting and testing people for this virus. So I wanted to be able to do my part. So that's when I realized, I could use my skills to help in some way, and that way was masks. A lot of masks are hard to find, especially masks that meet the standard for this virus. The filters have to be within a certain rating to actually prevent the virus. Not all masks help in that.
Would you say a little bit about that, Robert? You say not all masks help with that. There's something about micrometers and a number of these other designations you've talked about.
Yeah, so the mask the N95 mask is really for like close contact with people with the virus, and the rating for that, or it has to be 0.003 microns, and then it can prevent you. So that's what like doctors need it, because that's the rating for them to be able to be in that close vicinity with their patients and not have to worry about getting the virus.
Wow. So you're using 3D technology too, though, right?
Yes, ma'am. So what I did is I designed the mask on Autodesk Inventor, which is a computer-aided design software, and then I 3D printed it, and I put a HEPA filter, which meets the standards, in that mask.
All right. And so how many have you made again?
So
you and your sister, Ty. Let's not leave Ty out. Ty is on there too.
Yes.
Ty, tell us how many you all have made.
So I'm actually sewing and making medical masks for people who are not in the medical field, because...
Speak up to the mic. Come up closer. We can barely hear you.
So I've been making them for people who haven't been, who are not specifically in the medical field. I've been sewing masks out of cutting fabric and taking filters and putting them into the mask. I've made about 30 of them so far, but I'm just trying to get them out to the community so that we can also be safe and protected. because it's not only the doctors who are able to get this disease, but also just people walking in the street, especially the elderly that I'm worried about specifically, because as you can see, there's no mask anywhere in the stores to be able to get.
So how did you, Ty, how did you develop your interest in helping the elderly?
My mom's a geriatric doctor, so I've always been exposed to healthcare that has to do with the elderly, and just seeing the rate of death that they're going through and seeing how many of them are dying in the hospital alone or even in their houses, it just makes me really sad, because that's not how it should be.
Donna, Robert and Ty are children of Oakwood graduates, so we want to shout out, of course, our
I didn't
alum.
know that.
And their dad is running an innovation lab. Could either of you say something a little bit about what your dad is doing? He's been here at Oakwood. We've got a partnership that we're working on in terms of engineering innovation. So could any of you say a little bit either of you say a little bit about what Daddy Robert is doing?
Yeah, so my father, the short story of why he got started is basically innovation, technology, robotics is really what changed my life and my academic career. I went from being an average student to graduating high school with a 4.2, and so he's really wanting to expand how many people are being introduced into innovation and technology, and he wants people to realize that this can be applied to all areas of life and all majors. So by starting innovation labs, trying to just get students to at least be introduced to it once and seeing how how they can innovate in their fields as well.
Wow. So anybody can do something to make a difference.
That's right.
And even when you're in school right now, as our students are that we've talked to today, they're still in school. And what is our motto? We enter
to learn and we depart to serve.
But listen, we're not departing now. We might have to change that, right? Because they're serving before they depart, right?
That's right. And we've got a wonderful comment.
Okay.
Via Facebook. From Gwen Henry, says, "Thank God for the Oakwood University staff and our talented students. Will these items be available for the community? The masks and hand sanitizers, and when might they be available?"
All right, guys.
Are you all thinking about making these available in a broader way, Robert and Ty?
And Kyle still on the line?
Yes, sir. So the Ty is currently selling the masks for, and I just finished the last testing, and I've printed 3 masks, and I'm going to send them out to doctors right now.
Oh, excellent. So the plan is to make these available at some point, probably sooner than later, right? While they're still in need and still in demand, right?
Yeah. So, and also Advent Health in Daytona, I just met with them yesterday. They really liked my design, so they're going to be looking at mass producing my mask as well, and I also want to put my schematics on the internet so that anyone else who has a printer can print these masks and make it for themselves.
Oh, excellent!
So this was not something you found on YouTube. You came up with your own pattern and all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. And of course, now so here it is. Here's the businessman in me. So we do need to do trademarks and copyrights and all those. Now, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. When I was in China, long time ago, so no one needs to fear me, but I was in China back in October, November. I visited a school of business for entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
There were students who were in school who were multimillionaires.
Wow.
Because of the business ideas and the innovation and the entrepreneurship that they were advancing. So we never know, and God needs people with wealth to help those of us who don't have it. Come on, say amen.
Amen. Kyle, are you still there? I just want to see if he wants to respond.
I am. I'm still here.
Yeah, can you respond to whether you're going to have your hand sanitizers available to the community?
We're doing another batch. So
Okay.
So when we do another batch and how big we make that batch, there will be some hand sanitizer.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, all of you, for being with us here for Inside Oakwood University. Dr. Pollard, this has been fantastic.
Oh, my goodness.
Listening to what our students are doing and how our faculty are leading our students to do great things.
Doing great things. The Oakwood students are the treasure that God has entrusted to us. And thank each of you. I'm thanking each of you personally and publicly for what you contribute to the mission of Oakwood University.
All righty. Thank you so much, and thank you for being with us for Inside Oakwood University, this special edition focused on what our students and faculty are doing to really serve our community. Thank you. We'll see you next week on Thursday, right, Dr. Pollard?
Yes, next week.
We'll see you next week
on Thursday.
All right, y'all keep on listening to Praise 90.1 FM.
On Monday.
Oh, we're going to be here Monday. Oh, Monday and Thursday next week. We'll see y'all then. Bye-bye.
Our manager caught us.
WJOU Huntsville 90.1 FM, a broadcast service of Oakwood University.